Speaking to Taleb Rifai, who's the Secretary General of the United Nations World Tourism Organization, and we're here in Beijing. And just really, I'm asking him about the challenges and the opportunities that the world tourism faces at the moment. So, tell me, Taleb, what do you feel are the challenges? What are the opportunities ahead of us?
Let's start by establishing the fact that the challenges and the opportunities are one. We cannot look at the challenges in a narrow and isolated manner without seeing the opportunities that lie behind, and we cannot look at the opportunities while we ignore the realities and the facts on the ground and what are the difficulties. And I think from a bigger perspective, with a large picture, the most important challenge now to the tourism industry, which also embodies an opportunity as well, is the recognition and the acknowledgement of this industry as being part of the solution as opposed to being part of the problem. This is particularly the political recognition and the recognition in the public realm is the greatest of all challenge. This industry can bring so much to other sectors of the economy, and while doing that, it itself would gain so much, and it will come out of this very difficult and challenging time. The last year or two were incredibly difficult. The most difficult year in the last 60 years was 2009. But we're coming out of it. We're coming out of it quite confidently and strongly, with all the risks and the downsides that are there. So the major task of UNWTO, as I see it now, is the political work that we need to do with the finance minister, with prime ministers, with heads of states, with the general public, to establish the fact that tourism means jobs, tourism means infrastructure, tourism means development, tourism means trade, tourism means all what can help bring us out of this crisis.
So you're saying that tourism moving towards the green economy represents a big opportunity?
Indeed, because you need to position this industry in a place where it is seen as a leader, in a forefront, and tourism has an obligation towards that, and can be an example of this transformation towards a green economy, with all the tools that it has at hand. It's infrastructure, with green jobs, with a completely different environmentally responsible mindset.
So what you're saying also is that tourism has an opportunity of combating the economic situation in many countries, so they have jobs and infrastructure.
Indeed, and by doing that, it would be helping itself as an industry as well. But what we're saying is the potentials of this industry are not tapped yet as such. It can be a driver and a mover to get out of this economic difficulty by generating more jobs and revitalizing the economic activities.
Yeah. So where do you see the real opportunities lying in geographical terms?
Indeed, one has to look at Asia. Asia is a driver and a driving force in this regard. Of course, the mature market, the more established markets of Europe and North America, and particularly Europe, are there, will continue to be there, and will continue to be consolidated. But the fact and the reality is that they are the ones that are hardest hit, and they are the ones that are more difficult to move because of the saturation and the stage of that market. Growth is in Asia, growth is in Central and Latin America, growth is indeed in Africa, but and in the advantage and the state of development of Asia, particularly China, India, Malaysia, and much of the major players of Asia, they are going to be the drivers of this new phase of economic tourism development.
As a source market, basically.
As a source market and as a receiving market, but mainly as a source market, correct.
Whereas Africa is a destination rather more than a source market at the moment.
Correct. You know, Africa still has the great potential of growing because of the very modest nominal base that they're starting with. Less than 5% of world tourism still goes to Africa. So the space is big, and the ability to absorb more is tremendous.
So you feel that at the moment we don't have any reason to be negative about it at all? We've got a real opportunity.
Not at all.
In the tourism industry.
This is an exciting time, and it's a time for optimism. But of course, optimism, qualified optimism, cautious optimism, realistic optimism. But I'm upbeat, and I think the organization is transmitting that message. There's much that can be done out of there's many lessons that we have learned that we need to absorb and move forward from.
It's great. Thank you very much indeed.